Hi, everyone. Tonight, as you settle into stillness, we're going to journey somewhere ancient, somewhere timeless, somewhere that has barely changed in millions of years. To the rivers and swamps where shadows lurk beneath the surface, where patience is measured in hours, not minutes, where survival is an art perfected over eons. The crocodile. These magnificent reptiles, often feared, often misunderstood, but carrying within them the wisdom of 200 million years of evolution. They are living fossils, survivors of mass extinctions that wiped out the dinosaurs. They've outlasted ice ages, continental shifts, climate changes, everything, remaining almost unchanged because they achieved perfection so long ago. How did they survive so long? How does a creature remain essentially the same while the world transforms around it? Tonight, we'll drift through their secrets, one by one, gently exploring each superpower of survival, each adaptation that makes them perfect predators, perfect survivors, perfect beings. There's no hurry. Let yourself sink deeper into calm, and together we'll discover how the crocodile became one of nature's greatest success stories. But before we begin, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel a lot. Let's begin our journey into their ancient world. The first superpower is one of the most remarkable features in all of nature, the bite force. But calling it just strong is like calling the ocean just wet. A crocodile's bite is the most powerful of any living animal on Earth. The most powerful. A large saltwater crocodile can bite down with a force of over 3,700 pounds per square inch. 3,700 pounds. To put that in perspective, a human bite is around 150 to 200 pounds per square inch. A lion, one of nature's great predators, bites with about 650 pounds per square inch. Even a great white shark, famous for its bite, reaches around 600 pounds per square inch. The crocodile surpasses them all by far. When a crocodile closes its jaws, it's like a steel trap snapping shut. Nothing escapes. Nothing breaks free. The jaw muscles responsible for closing the mouth are massive, powerful, refined by millions of years of hunting. They're designed for one purpose: to hold on, no matter what. Once those jaws close around prey, the struggle is over. The bite force isn't just about power, it's about precision too. Crocodiles can adjust their bite, sensing exactly how much force is needed, carrying their babies gently in their massive jaws without harming them. Then moments later, crushing the bones of large prey with devastating force. The same mouth, the same muscles, but perfect control. This incredible bite force evolved over millions of years through necessity. Early crocodilians, the ancestors of modern crocodiles, lived alongside dinosaurs. They hunted fish, small reptiles, whatever they could catch. But as they grew larger, as they evolved, their prey grew larger too. They needed to hold on to struggling prey, to prevent escape, to ensure a meal. The crocodiles with stronger bites, with more powerful jaw muscles, they succeeded more often. They caught more food, survived longer, had more offspring. Generation after generation, the bite force increased. Natural selection favoring the strongest, the most powerful, the most effective hunters. And the muscles grew, the bones thickened, the leverage improved. Until we arrived at what we see today, the most powerful bite in the animal kingdom. A bite refined by 200 million years of predation, by countless successful hunts, by survival itself, writing its power into their very skull. We humans, we don't bite very hard. Our jaws are designed for different purposes: speech, varied diet, tool use. We rely on our hands, our tools, our intelligence to manipulate the world. A crocodile relies on its mouth, its jaws, its bite. Everything it needs to do: Survive, eat, defend, fight, it does with its mouth. So evolution poured all its engineering genius into those jaws, created muscles that are essentially pure crushing power, built a skull that can withstand the forces those muscles generate, designed teeth that interlock, that grip, that hold. We need weapons, tools, technology to generate the kind of force a crocodile produces naturally. Hydraulic presses, industrial equipment, machines. A crocodile just opens its mouth and closes it, and the force generated is enough to crush a cow's skull, to snap bones like twigs, to hold prey underwater until it drowns. All biological, all natural, all perfectly evolved. Picture a river in Australia. The wet season, water brown and murky. A large saltwater crocodile named Titan rests in the shallows, perfectly still. Only his eyes and nostrils break the surface. The rest hidden, camouflaged, patient. A wild boar approaches the water's edge, thirsty, cautious, but not cautious enough. It leans down to drink, its snout touching the water. Titan has been watching, waiting, calculating. In one explosive movement, he lunges. His jaws snap shut around the boar's head and neck. 3,700 pounds of force concentrated in that single bite. The boar doesn't even have time to squeal. The skull cracks, the neck vertebrae compress. Instant, overwhelming power. Titan drags the boar into deeper water, the death roll beginning. Spinning, turning, using his whole body weight, his tail, his strength. But it was the bite that won. The bite that ended the struggle before it began. The boar never had a chance from the moment those jaws closed. That's the power living in a crocodile's mouth. That's the weapon refined by millions of years. Silent, patient, then devastatingly, perfectly effective. There's something humbling about this kind of natural power. We build machines to match it, but the crocodile was born with it, carries it in its muscles, its bones, its very being. It reminds us that nature, given enough time, can engineer solutions we can barely comprehend. That evolution doesn't need blueprints or factories, just time, pressure, survival, and refinement. And the result? Perfection in the form of crushing force. A bite that has remained essentially unchanged for millions of years. Because when something works this well, when something is this perfectly adapted, evolution says, enough. This is complete. This is perfect. This needs no improvement. Maybe there's wisdom in recognizing when something is already perfect. Not trying to change it, not trying to improve it, just letting it be what it is. The crocodile's bite, perfect millions of years ago, perfect today, perfect forever. Now, let's talk about something equally remarkable: the ability to hold their breath. Crocodiles are air-breathing reptiles like us, needing oxygen to survive. But unlike us, they can hold their breath for extraordinary lengths of time. A large crocodile can remain submerged for over 2 hours. 2 hours. Completely underwater, completely still, waiting. For a human, even a trained free diver, holding breath for more than a few minutes is exceptional. 5 minutes is expert level. 10 minutes is world record territory. But crocodiles can do 2 hours, casually, naturally, as part of their normal behavior. This happens through incredible physiological adaptations. When a crocodile submerges, its heart rate slows dramatically, from 30 or 40 beats per minute down to just 2 or 3 beats per minute, almost stopping, just the bare minimum to keep vital organs functioning. Their metabolism slows, oxygen consumption drops, everything becomes efficient, conservative. Blood flow is redirected away from non-essential areas, focused on the brain and vital organs. They can even shut down blood flow to certain parts of their body temporarily. and their muscles can function anaerobically for extended periods without oxygen, using stored energy. Their blood chemistry is specially adapted too. They have higher tolerance for carbon dioxide buildup, for lactic acid, for the byproducts of anaerobic respiration. Things that would force us to gasp for air, they can tolerate comfortably. And they have a special valve in their throat, the palatal valve, that seals off their airway, allowing them to open their mouth underwater without drowning. They can bite, hold prey, perform the death roll, all while completely submerged. The airway sealed, the lungs protected, no risk of water entering. This ability evolved because of their hunting strategy. Crocodiles are ambush predators, relying on surprise, on patience, on perfect timing. They can't chase prey over long distances. They're not built for speed on land. So they wait. They wait in the water, submerged, invisible, for hours if necessary, waiting for prey to come close enough, to drop their guard, to make that one fatal mistake. The crocodiles who could hold their breath longer had an advantage. They could wait longer, remain hidden longer, increase their chances of a successful hunt. Those who needed to surface frequently, who couldn't stay submerged, they were less successful. They caught less food, survived less often, had fewer offspring. So natural selection favored the patient ones, the ones who could slow their metabolism, who could wait. Generation after generation, the ability improved, refined, perfected, until holding breath for 2 hours became normal, natural, effortless. An adaptation so successful it's remained largely unchanged for millions of years. We humans, we're terrible at holding our breath. We're designed for constant breathing, for active metabolism, for movement and activity. Our brains consume enormous amounts of oxygen, about 20% of our body's total oxygen intake. We can't slow our metabolism significantly, can't redirect blood flow as efficiently. After a minute or two without air, we start to panic, our body demanding oxygen. After a few more minutes, we pass out, brain cells begin to die. We're built for a completely different lifestyle, different needs, different survival strategies. The crocodile doesn't need constant activity, constant oxygen. It needs patience, stillness, the ability to wait in perfect ambush. And evolution gave it exactly the tools it needed. A body that can shut down, slow down, conserve, wait. For as long as necessary, without stress, without struggle, just calm, patient waiting. Picture a river at dawn. Mist rising from the water, everything quiet, peaceful. A crocodile named River lies at the bottom, in about 12 feet of water. She's been there for over an hour, completely submerged, completely still. Her heart beats twice per minute, slow, steady, minimal. Her eyes are open, watching the surface above, waiting. A herd of antelope approaches the water's edge, cautious, scanning for danger. They don't see River. She's been underwater too long. They've grown complacent. One antelope steps into the shallows, starts drinking. River doesn't move yet, still waiting, still patient. Her lungs hold air from over an hour ago, but she's comfortable. No urgency, no need to breathe. The antelope steps deeper, relaxing, thinking it's safe. Now, River explodes upward, her tail propelling her from the bottom. Jaws open, targeting the antelope's leg. The bite, the grip, the pull into deeper water, all in seconds after more than an hour of motionless waiting. The antelope never suspected, never knew she was there, because River could wait, could hold her breath, could remain invisible beneath the surface. That patience, that ability, that superpower, it made the hunt possible. Without it, she would have surfaced, been seen. The antelope would have fled. But with it, she's the perfect invisible predator, waiting as long as it takes, breathing when she chooses, not when she must. There's something profound about this level of patience. We live in a world of urgency, of constant activity, of needing everything now. We can barely wait minutes, let alone hours. But the crocodile teaches a different way, that sometimes the greatest power is in waiting, in patience, in perfect stillness. Not acting until the moment is exactly right. Not rushing, not forcing, just waiting for the perfect opportunity. And when it comes, striking with total commitment, total effectiveness. Maybe we could learn from this, about patience, about timing, about the power of waiting for the right moment. Not every moment is the right moment. Sometimes you have to wait, to be still, to conserve your energy. And when the time is right, you'll know, and you'll act, and it will be perfect. Now, let's explore something fascinating about their sensory abilities. The pressure sensors. All along a crocodile's jaw, scattered across their face, are small dots, small bumps. They look like pores, like imperfections in the scales. But they're not. They're integumentary sensory organs, pressure receptors of incredible sensitivity. These sensors, they detect the tiniest vibrations in the water. A fish swimming by, an animal drinking at the water's edge, a leaf falling on the surface. Even a single drop of water creates ripples, vibrations that these sensors detect. They can sense movement from meters away, in complete darkness, in murky water. They don't need to see their prey. They feel it, sense it, know exactly where it is. Each sensor is connected to nerves, sending signals to the brain, creating a map of everything happening around them. It's like having a sixth sense, a constant awareness of every disturbance in the water, more sensitive than human touch, more precise than sonar. These tiny organs give crocodiles a complete picture of their environment. In the dark, in muddy water, when vision is useless, the sensors work perfectly, detecting prey, avoiding obstacles, sensing danger, all through water pressure and vibration. This sensory system evolved because crocodiles often hunt in conditions where vision is limited. Murky water, darkness, heavy vegetation. The crocodiles who could sense prey without seeing it had enormous advantages. They could hunt at night, in cloudy water, in any conditions, while others relied on vision, struggling in poor light. These crocodiles thrived. Natural selection favored this sensitivity, this ability to feel the world through water. And the sensors became more numerous, more sensitive, more sophisticated, until they became what we see today, a sensory network of extraordinary capability, possibly more sensitive than any other vertebrate's equivalent system. We humans, we rely heavily on vision, on sight to navigate the world. In darkness, in murky conditions, we're nearly helpless. We've developed technology to compensate, night vision, sonar, radar. But crocodiles were born with something better, a biological system that detects vibrations we can't even imagine feeling. They could hunt in absolute darkness, in completely opaque water, and still find prey perfectly. We need tools, devices, equipment. They just need their skin, their senses, their evolutionary inheritance. Picture a river at night. No moon, complete darkness. The water is murky from recent rains, visibility zero even in daylight. A crocodile named Shadow is hunting, drifting silently through the water. She can't see anything. The darkness is absolute, but she doesn't need to see. Her senses are active, feeling every ripple, every vibration, every disturbance. 30 meters away, a fish jumps, splashes back into the water. Shadow feels it instantly. The direction, the distance, the size. She adjusts her position, swimming slowly, silently toward the source. Closer now, her sensors detecting smaller vibrations. The fish swimming, its tail moving, creating tiny pressure waves. Shadow knows exactly where it is, what direction it's moving, how fast. Without seeing it, without hearing it, just feeling the water, the vibrations, the pressure. She strikes. Her jaws snap shut around the fish. Perfect accuracy in complete darkness. The fish never knew she was there. Shadow swallows it, continues drifting, her senses constantly monitoring. Always aware, always sensing, always connected to everything happening in the water around her. That's her world. A world of vibration and pressure. A world we can't perceive, can't imagine, can't access without technology. But for Shadow, it's natural, normal, constant. The way she experiences reality through touch, through sensitivity, through these remarkable sensors. There's beauty in this different way of perceiving the world. It reminds us that reality is richer than what we can see, that there are layers of information, of sensation, of awareness we're completely blind to. The crocodile lives in a world of vibration, of pressure, of subtle movements, always sensing, always aware, always connected to the water around them. Maybe there's a lesson about awareness, about paying attention to subtle signals. We focus on the obvious, the visible, the loud. But sometimes the most important information is subtle, quiet, easily missed. A slight change in energy, a small shift in atmosphere, a barely perceptible vibration. The crocodile notices everything, misses nothing. Because survival depends on sensitivity, on awareness, on paying attention. Finally, let's talk about something truly remarkable: their immune system. Crocodiles live in some of the most bacteria-rich environments on Earth. Rivers, swamps, wetlands, filled with decaying matter, waste, pathogens. They feed on carrion sometimes, eating meat that's been rotting for days. They fight other crocodiles, receiving deep wounds, open lacerations. And yet, they almost never get infected, almost never get sick. Their wounds heal quickly, cleanly, without infection. In water that would cause sepsis in humans within hours, they thrive. This is because of their extraordinary immune system. Their blood contains antimicrobial peptides that kill bacteria, viruses, even fungi. These compounds are so effective that scientists are studying them for medical applications, hoping to develop new antibiotics, new treatments for drug-resistant bacteria. The crocodile's immune system can destroy bacteria that are resistant to our strongest antibiotics. It can heal wounds in contaminated water that would be fatal to most animals. It protects them from pathogens we can't even treat effectively with modern medicine. And it's all natural, all evolved, all coded in their genes. This powerful immune system evolved from necessity. Living in contaminated water, eating questionable food, fighting regularly. Crocodiles who couldn't fight off infections died young, didn't reproduce. Only those with the strongest immune responses survived. Generation after generation, the immune system strengthened. The antimicrobial compounds became more potent, more diverse, more effective. Natural selection turning their blood into a natural pharmacy. Millions of years of exposure to pathogens, creating perfect biological defenses. Until we arrived at what we see today, an immune system so powerful, it seems almost supernatural. We humans, we have good immune systems, but we're vulnerable. Infections kill us. Bacteria evolve resistance to our antibiotics. We need clean water, sterile conditions for surgeries, antibiotics for injuries. A crocodile can fight another crocodile, receive massive wounds, then swim in bacteria-filled swamp water and heal completely. No infection, no complications. Their blood fighting off pathogens we would need hospitalization to survive. It's humbling, seeing how evolution can create biological solutions superior to our best technology. We're learning from them, studying them, hoping to unlock their secrets, to create new medicines, new treatments, new ways to fight disease. the ancient crocodile teaching modern medicine. Picture a river after a territorial fight. Two male crocodiles, both wounded. A crocodile named Ancient has deep gashes along his flank, teeth marks, torn flesh. The water around him is brown, filled with sediment, bacteria, organic matter. Any human with similar wounds in this water would develop severe infections within hours. But Ancient simply rests, his immune system already working, the antimicrobial peptides in his blood flooding the wound sites, killing bacteria on contact, preventing any infection from taking hold, his blood clotting, sealing the wounds, beginning the healing process. Within days, the wounds are closing. Within weeks, they'll be healed completely. No antibiotics needed, no sterile bandages, no medical intervention, just his body, his blood, his immune system doing what it was designed to do. Perfectly, efficiently, completely. He continues his life, hunting, basking, existing. The wounds that would have killed most creatures, already healing, already handled. That's the power of millions of years of evolution. That's what happens when survival depends on being able to heal from anything. There's something powerful about this self-sufficiency, this ability to heal, to fight off disease, to survive without external help. We've become dependent on medicine, on doctors, on antibiotics, and they're wonderful, they save lives, but they also make us forget. Forget that the body has its own wisdom, its own healing power. The crocodile never forgot, never needed to. Its body is its own pharmacy, its own hospital, its own healer. Maybe there's a lesson about trusting our own resilience, about remembering that we have internal resources, internal strength. Not to reject medicine, but to remember we're also designed to heal, to fight, to survive. The crocodile reminds us that life wants to continue, wants to heal, wants to thrive. And given the right conditions, the right support, it does. Let's step back now and see the whole story. The evolutionary journey that created the modern crocodile. It begins over 200 million years ago in the Triassic period. The first crocodilians appeared, smaller than modern crocodiles, more diverse in form. Some were terrestrial, running on land. Some were marine, living in oceans. Some ate plants, some ate insects. Some were already ambush predators. But as the millennia passed, as the world changed, most of these forms died out. Mass extinctions came, wiping out the dinosaurs, changing the planet forever. But the crocodilians survived. The ones who lived in water, who could hide, who could wait. They survived the asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs. Survived the ice ages, the continental shifts, everything. And slowly, they refined into the form we know today. The massive bite force perfected. The breath-holding ability maximized. The sensory organs enhanced. The immune system strengthened. Each generation slightly better adapted, slightly more perfect. Until about 80 million years ago, crocodiles reached their current form and stopped changing because they had achieved perfection for their niche. Perfect ambush predators, perfect survivors, perfect for their environment. Evolution said, "This is complete. This needs no further improvement." And for 80 million years, they've remained essentially unchanged. While mammals evolved and diversified, while humans appeared and built civilizations, the crocodile stayed the same. Perfect then, perfect now, perfect always. No individual crocodile knows how ancient their design is. They don't understand they're living fossils, survivors of eons. They just exist, hunt, survive, reproduce, being exactly what they've always been, carrying 200 million years of evolutionary wisdom in their body. Every adaptation tested by time, refined by survival, proven by success. That's the deep story, the evolutionary story of the crocodile. Not a story of constant change, but of achieving perfection and maintaining it, of finding the right form and keeping it, because it works, because it's perfect. So here we are at the end of our journey into the ancient world of crocodiles. We've drifted through their superpowers, their adaptations, their perfect design. The bite force, the most powerful in the animal kingdom, crushing, holding, devastating. The breath-holding ability, waiting for hours underwater, patient, still, invisible. The pressure sensors, feeling every vibration, every movement, seeing without eyes. The immune system, fighting off any infection, healing any wound, surviving anything. And we've seen how these abilities evolved over millions of years, each one refined by time, by survival, by natural selection. Until the crocodile became what it is, a perfect predator, a perfect survivor. But here's what strikes me most as we prepare to drift into sleep. The crocodile doesn't know it's perfect, doesn't understand it's ancient. To the crocodile, it's just being, just existing, just doing what comes naturally, hunting when hungry, resting when full, surviving because that's what it does. It doesn't strive to improve, doesn't wish it were different. It simply is what it is, perfectly, completely, contentedly. And maybe that's the real lesson, the thing worth carrying into sleep. That perfection isn't about constant change, constant improvement, constant striving. Sometimes perfection is about finding what works and staying with it, about being fully what you are, without apology, without doubt. The crocodile achieved its perfect form millions of years ago, and it hasn't needed to change since. Because when something is truly right, truly aligned, truly perfect for its purpose, change isn't necessary. Maybe we could think about ourselves this way, not always trying to change, to improve, to become something different, but recognizing when we're already in our right form, our right place, our right way of being, and staying there, contentedly, peacefully, perfectly. The crocodile doesn't chase trends, doesn't follow fashions, doesn't try to be anything other than what it is. A perfect predator, a patient hunter, an ancient survivor. And in that constancy, that stability, there's a kind of peace, a deep, ancient peace that comes from being completely aligned with your nature. So, as you drift off tonight, let that settle in. The image of a crocodile, ancient and perfect, resting in still water, eyes just above the surface, patient, aware, completely at peace, not striving, not struggling, not trying to be anything other than what it is, just being, perfectly, completely, contentedly. You don't need to constantly change, don't need to constantly improve. Sometimes the wisest thing is to recognize what's already working, what's already perfect in its own way, what's already aligned, and stay there, rest there, be there, like the crocodile has for millions of years. Perfect then, perfect now, perfect always. Rest now like a crocodile in the sun, ancient, patient, complete, knowing your strength, trusting your design, at peace with what you are. Everything is well. Everything is exactly as it should be. Good night.